Zecher Tzadik Livracha, famous Chazan representing the Syrian community and great rabbi of yesteryear. Now, we've spoken about him on various occasions before inside some of the videos of various other different great rabbis that actually hailed from Syria. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous Payatan's life over here. Okay, so he was born in the year 1877. He passed away in October 1940. He was about 63 years of age. It happened to be the 17th of Tishrei when he passed away in the middle of Sukkot. He was a great Payatan. He was one of the great rabbis of Chalab, of Syria, of his day, especially towards the end of the 19th century, early 20th century. He was born in the year 1877 in Aleppo, in Chalab, in Syria, respectively. I think when he was about 6 years of age, sadly, I think his father passed away, and he would grow up under auspices of Rabbi Raphael Entebbe, would actually help him, and he was a famous also Payatan of let's say Syria of his day. Meshurar he was a great rabbi of Aram Sova, respectively. So that would really help him, and let's say channel his talent to become one of the greatest Payatans without doubt in modern Jewish history. And Rabbi Raphael Entebbe, as we said before, was a great poet of Aleppo, respectively, and he would become a close student of his. Now, it's reported over that Rabbi Entebbe, I'm not too sure if it was partially, but he didn't have a full eyesight. I'm not too sure if it was a total eyesight or not, or it was just partially. So that would, and because of that, Ashkar would actually write many of, I believe, his stepfather, his rabbi's poems, and really help him. He would actually learn Arabic music to a great level, the poetry and behind it, and many of the Arabic songs, these piyutim, it would be actually written in Hebrew afterwards. So it would bring about the best of the, let's just say, the song in itself, using the Arab, like say, voices, Arab melodies, and channel it in Hebrew, let's just say, brilliance, that it would come out at a later stage in Lashon Ivrit, as it's stating for. Now, I believe he got married. After he got married, he would write down various different songs, different piyutim, especially. I think Rav Entebbe will actually compose a piyut after Rav Ashkar would get married. It was called the Malech Rahman, I believe, and I think it mentioned basically within regards to the Chatan and the Kala inside this. I think the Avi HaKala, Yaakov, will actually write down Kat Moshe Bat Yaakov Ish Tam. This actually was written over, and actually the source of this is coming down. I think you can actually see the various different piyutim in the Piyut Atfilah website, and I think also University of Chicago Press will actually examine the various different piyutim coming from the Syrian community, some of the Syrian rabbis over there. So that is actually quoted. I think come with the year 1903, he would be about 26 years of age. He would be appointed to become a Chazan and Bal Koreh, a rabbi that would actually be the cantor and also read the Torah inside Beit Knesset Agdol in Aleppo, which was a very prominent position over there. It was a great synagogue over there, so he will have like the premiership role over there. Come with the year 1912, along with many other Syrian Jewish people, he would actually move to New York, to the United States of America, with his mother. And he would actually start working in Manhattan over there. Afterwards, moved to Brooklyn, which obviously has a very great Jewish community, Syrian Jewish community nowadays. He would work as a chazan inside the synagogue, I think called the Magen David, for a staggering 28 years it would be. He would go all over New York, give a different song, very much representing the Syrian community, the Aleppo community over there, and various different piyutim, bringing in its brilliance, and would, let's say, compose various different songs inside this city, new songs over there. He would actually found like a foundation of the Mesurah HaShirah HaChalabit B'Artzot HaBrit for the American Syrian community over there, and he would work in various other places within regards to Mesurat HaPizmonim over there also, which we have to point out. There's various different sources actually coming over here. I think actually the Pizmonim website, there's a Brooklyn Kolog, let's just say, which was a congregation in New York, will actually feature it. I think the CUNY, the University of New York, will actually have a publication on a PDF of various of his Pizmonim and so on and so forth. So he would work to preserve and pass on the tradition of the Pizmonim of the Chalabi community. He used to listen to various other melodies from different countries, Egyptian, Turkish and Aleppo, and even various different European melodies, and writes his poems according to them, his songs according to them, bring out the brilliance of the voices and the nigunim and the tunes within regards to that. But at the same time, we would try to preserve the original intonation of the Arabic lyrics from the Syrian community. Despite there were limitations, his poems excelled in quality of writing. It was absolutely brilliant. He composed many Puritim, some of which are sang today, especially in various different Israeli communities. And many of them, I think he would compose, are sang on, I think there was a Ben Sha'ara Piyutim Shchiber, it was El Mo'ad Na'ala, which is actually printed within regards to his writings. Now, I believe he passed away on Chol Hamoed Sukkot in the year 1940. We're talking about 85 years ago here, from the time of recording. The great Payatan actually passed away at that stage in time. So he was actually, when he was growing up in Syria, he was a Talmid of Rabbi Raphael Davush. He was a great rabbi also of his time. We've spoken about him on various occasions before. It's actually many of Rabbi Davush's songs he would actually also write. He would also write, I think it was, it was also of Rav Entebi's songs, it would be. I'm not too sure if it was that. I think really would work as the Chazan in Knis Kabira in Aleppo, I think it was actually called. And so I think he was close to Rabbi Raphael Davush, and also I think, as we stated before on the onset, Rabbi Raphael Entebi. So I'm not too sure the exact rabbi. According to the website Wikipedia, to give his full title, his name, Rabbi Entebi's title was Rabbi Raphael Yitzchak Entebi Tapush. That was his full title, so I was getting confused because on Wikipedia it titles him as Rabbi Raphael Entebi, and according to the Pizmonim.org website, it says Rabbi Tabush. So it was really one long name, it was the same person. So to give his full title, just to clarify, his name was Rabbi Raphael Yitzchak Entebi Tabush, to give his full title. So it was really right for him. And it talks about on the Pizmonim website how he moved to Manhattan, later on to Brooklyn, and would bring about all of the various different Pizmonim in those points in times. I think various different copies of his weekly notes for the last 4 years of his life, from 1937, 1938, 1939, 1940, were preserved and available to the public. It was. And he bridged, let's just say, the different sources of different songs and brought many forgotten songs, forgotten Piyutim, into life. Now, for example, I think there's that you can actually find Pizmonim.org song, various different Pizmonim. I think, for example, the Magen Yishi, which is composed originally from, which he composed, and I think came actually in the wedding of Ezra Ovadia Labton, if I'm not mistaken, in Brooklyn, between the years 1920 1925, like bringing about the various different things. I think he would take over from Rabbi Mordechai Levton. He passed away in the year 1869. Various different songs of his and stanzas of his. Another one was, I think, Yihi Ten Li Chana. That was another one of his Piyutim. It was an Italian melody, for example. I think at the time of David Abraham Satan's Chatzuna, his wedding. And also David Abraham Satana, there was Malchi La'am and Itni. That was another song which was at his time. Amar Lo Goali. This was another great song for Yosef. Abraham Eli HaCohen, his wedding, he would actually compose. There was a wedding of David Jack Beda family, if I'm not mistaken. The Dor Zvulo, that was another song. And then another one, Nisim Shaul Daba, his bar mitzvah, he would compose song Ma Lachara Ya Yechida. You can actually find these all on the Pizmonim website. When Ezra Ovadia Kohen, I think he would have the Malchit Suri Ya Yedidi. I think he used a Syrian national anthem tune from prior 1936. You would have a song Lebetecha Ya Arzu. This was actually used on Yom Kippur. This Pizmon was Boy Berina. This was another great song. I think was one of beautiful compositions he actually wrote, and was written for the groom Seymour Charles Sema in his wedding to Sarah Ashkenazi, who happened to be the daughter of Lulu and Aaron Ashkenazi. It's reported over. Yeshiru Lelokim, this was a Shabbat song, for example, of his. Yechid Bertzonecha, for the wedding of Isaac Harry Franco, he would actually do. For the wedding of Sion Ezra Levy, he would actually have the single Mi Yizrach or Oriko, and various other songs. I think the wedding of Isaac and Fortune Betesh, he will do a song Ma'alache. Marom is very much featured in Pizmonim. I think for Naphtali Tawil, he would do the Kol Et Elecha sing. There was it's interesting, Bechor Shlomo Shweki, his bar mitzvah, we're going back way years ago now. I don't know if he's a relative, forefather of Rabbi Yaakov Shweki, one of the famous singers of modern day. In 1936, with the song Mi Malel Gvrot Kel, there would be. And for Saul Sadka Ashkenazi, in his wedding, he would do the Atatsuri, another great song. There's a long list of different songs he would actually compose. He'd use songs which were famous in Izmir, for example, especially to do the Aser Tzadibrot, Halel Va'aviyah. Then there was for the wedding, I think for Moshe Ezra Shrem, maybe from the great rabbinic dynasty of the Shrem family. Ya El Nora, this was also for Selim and Niza Gindi, for their wedding, I think. Ma'atzma, you can actually find these all on the website. Ezra Abraham Husni, Levi, his bar mitzvah in 1940. Eli Anohu Armonaha. And most famously also Pizmon El Me'od Ne'aleh. This was used, I think, for the groom, Mr. Eli Gindi, also, I think in 3 different stanzas, if I'm not mistaken. Ezra Tawil, his wedding, he would do the Hotcha Ya Tana Li. This is another great song. And the wedding of Jacob Isaac Kaboso, who was the father of Eli and Isaac Kaboso, you do Ya Oshia Adati. And the list goes on. I'm not listing all the Pizmonim, famous Pizmonim he would use for different weddings, just giving a taster because it's actually got it here on the Pizmonim website. Sam Haddad, for example, the wedding of Joseph Kassin, if I'm not mistaken, in 1951 was used. The Chos La'amecha. And Meir Salem's wedding, Ya Nasher. Another one of the Kassin family, Ya Achisha Batanali. There was many different Pizmonim he put. And just to speak about a last song, the Shela Sagni Yedidi. This is another one, I think, that's used, I think, at part of the Pizmon for the Sefer Torah on Shabbat Pinchas at one stage in time. Another beautiful song that was actually composed. And I think for the wedding of Joseph Moshe Asher in Nisan in the year 1931, Yata Le'el Agdala. Very interesting enough. So that's just some of the Pizmonim that he actually composed in his time. I recommend everyone to look. There was a lot more. I have a huge list of Pizmonim and songs. So I recommend everyone to go on to pizmonim.org and look at it. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about famous rabbis of yesteryear. If you dissent from any of the rabbis we're speaking about, send me an email now. Please let me know. If you feel you've got a great descendant and you want me to cover, let's just say, the great rabbi, like some of the history, do a biography video, I'd love to hear more. Please send me an email, and I would love to cover a video on the great Chacham, great Payatan, wherever country they are from. Now, please, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We're a community here. We're learning about the great people of yesteryear, the great rabbis of yesteryear from the great Sephardic countries. So please help grow the channel. Like the videos, share the videos, and wishing all a Shabbat Shalom, because I'm recording this just before Shabbat Parashat Balak here in Israel. And much appreciated all the fantastic feedback. And we're nearly on 7,000 subscribers. So we've only got to this stage because of all you fantastic people out there. So wishing you well, blessings from Israel, and thanks everyone for taking time to watch, and please share. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.